everybody. Happy Wednesday. Jim and Sean here with you. Oh, Sean, my friend, your team, Manchester United. The Glazers going to sell them or posturing for more money to get from um, the Saudi concern or any other groups that might be interested?
Yeah, I think they're going to probably, a lot of this stuff's coming out, and it just seems like, you see this stuff as the full sale. I think, once again, if you're selling something, you don't just come out and say, we don't want it anymore. It's worthless to us. Because then the person trying to buy it is going to say, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. I just, I think they're still trying to say, listen, we're, if you don't give us what we want, we're going to stay and we'll get, investment from Carlisle and all this stuff. Well, right. Yeah, but, this guy's already bid, £6 billion. At some point, like, you can't just keep, it's going to be worth $10 billion at some point. You don't know. The global economy could fall apart anytime at this, it's on the verge of this disaster every time you turn around. So yeah, maybe in 10 years it is, but then for 10 years you got to deal with all this stuff. Or you could just sell it now for $6 billion, $7.5 billion. Take your billion each and go do whatever you want. Go buy a thing. Go buy Liverpool. Go do what you want with it. So,
right. No, again, it's not like the Glazer family's poor. So from that standpoint, a couple of good games getting ready to kick off here at the top of the hour. Why don't you go through Byron in that Manchester City?
Yeah, look, I mean, if it's 2-0 Bayern at halftime, I think you have a tie. If it's 2-0 Bayern at halftime, I think I got a bridge to sell you too. It's not happening. Manchester City is going to win the tie. I would think pretty easy. I would think there's a much better chance it's 1-0 City. 2-0 City at halftime. The Bayern team's a mess. Sadio Mane's punching teammates. They're a disaster. Blah blah blah. So it is what it is. I just don't think they're going to be able to overturn that. And then the other game, Inter Benfica. Benfica was terrible last week at home. Inter, was up 2-0 going home. AC Milan is already through. So, Inter wins. It's a semifinal, a San Siro semifinal, which would be pretty interesting. So, but I can't. I don't really love both games. Either game, to be honest. I think Inter Benfica could be interesting if Benfica scores early. They have the talent to do it. I would say if you asked me, if you told me one of the teams that is down is going to overturn it, it's 100% Benfica. It won't be Bayern Munich. There's no chance Bayern Munich beats City by 4 goals today. So there's just no way.
So it is what it is, right?
That's right.
They're gonna move through and go on. Now you've been very strong about Manchester City, probably being, if not a favorite, the co-favorite to take the whole thing.
Yeah, they're the favorite now. I mean, it's a clear favorite now. They're like minus 125, minus 135. They're going to go through. They're going to be about minus 180. And, the only team that could stop them is Real Madrid at this point. Real Madrid stopped them last year. And they needed 2 goals in injury time to do it. So it can be done. Real Madrid is very good. But, I don't think I'm going out on a limb by saying that the Real Madrid-Manchester City 2-legged semifinal is the final. Whoever comes out of that is going to be a heavy, heavy favorite in the final. I don't care if it's Inter or AC Milan. Inter and AC Milan might need to win the tournament to get back into the Champions League next year. They're not. One of those two teams probably doesn't make the top four in Italy. So, and the champion Napoli got smoked yesterday. So, however, there's a lot of positives about the Serie A, but if Manchester City or Real Madrid win 6-0 in a final, and Napoli gets beat early, and then that team gets picked apart in the offseason, because that's what's going to happen now. They didn't win a Champions League. They just they're going to win their first title in 40 years, 30 years, but they're not going to stay together. So that team will get picked apart, and they'll be. That's the problem with the league. I mean, anytime they get any good, they get picked apart. So, Inter and AC Milan, one of those two teams gets to a final. If they happen to win it, you would have to say it would be the biggest upset maybe in final history. There's just no way.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it difficult to. Well, from your standpoint, it's not hard to bet on or talk about who to wager your money on this situation.
Yeah. Yep.
So what's going on with regard to the rest of the world of soccer as we head into the final couple weeks of April and into early May?
You got the South American tournaments. You got the the Premier League. Arsenal's playing on Friday ahead of everybody else, and City's not playing, so maybe they don't have any pressure on them this weekend. If Arsenal does not beat Southampton, I don't think they have any chance to win it. It could still happen. Mm-hmm. If Arsenal wins, if Arsenal draws, or there's no way they're going to lose to Southampton. But if say they draw, they're 5 points up and they're 2 games in hand on City, and then they beat City on Wednesday. Well, then they're 8 points up. Still with 2 matches in hand, but they have that little cushion. If Arsenal wins, because City's playing in the semifinal of the FA Cup, if Arsenal wins this weekend to go 7 points clear, still with 2 games in hand, and then beats Manchester City next Wednesday, they'll win the title. That's the only way. Even I think if Arsenal draws, it could be close. Arsenal might hold on, but if Manchester City wins that, they'll win the title. So I mean, it'll come down to next Wednesday. Arsenal will win Friday. You got the 2 FA Cup semifinals. You got Manchester City, who's about I haven't even seen the odds, but they must be. They're minus 715 against Sheffield United. Sheffield United, 2 of their best players can't play because they're City players. And then you got Brighton and Manchester United playing on Sunday, and that's Brighton's a little bit of a favorite. Rightly so, they're very good. So could be interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of the cup competitions are coming down to the final stages here. I believe you have. Friday's a big day for games. All the different leagues have the different games going on. I think I want to say the cups, most of the cups are next Tuesday, Wednesday.
I'm looking right now.
Portugal Cup is Coppa Italia semifinals are Wednesday and Thursday. Portugal Cup semis are Tuesday, Wednesday. Coppa Italia, UEFA Champions League women's semifinals next week, Wednesday, Thursday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you got some stuff going on. You got some cups coming up. The championship will be decided in England. So there's a lot of different action.
Yeah, and fun action. Amadeus and I were talking yesterday about the NBA playoffs and how things have gone a little bizarre in that one. Philadelphia's playing well in that in the playoffs, but Golden State not so much.
Yeah, that's right. Some Steph checking in from England. Thought you'd grown your hair then and had a bob. Take your hood down. There you go, Steph. If you're watching, my bad.
Well, I mean, it's not often we get hair comments, so
Yeah. They like to bust my balls a little bit over there. The NBA right now is interesting because you have these, the two and the NHL. You have the two ties or the two series now. Boston's going to win. That series is over. Philadelphia and Boston, if they win one game on the road here to go up 3-1, and especially if they win game 3, the series over. Sacramento, Golden State, Golden State is very good at home. Sacramento's not bad on the road. If Sacramento wins one game in San Francisco, the game, it's over. They won't, the Sacramento team is pretty good. Phoenix got back into it yesterday. The Tuesday games were big, I think, for Cleveland and Phoenix. Both got back into it. 1-1. I think tonight, Memphis and Milwaukee get back into it. Denver probably goes up 2-0. Thursday is the game 3s. Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Sacramento, Golden State, and Phoenix, LA. And the games are, it's every night. It's doubleheader TNT, and then a game on NBA TV. Friday nights ESPN and ABC. Doubleheaders. Saturday, of course, you got all the games. TNT and ESPN. So yeah, it's interesting.
And TNT and ESPN also have the hockey. So
yeah. So they're around. Yeah.
But it's interesting. Normally the Warriors have been relatively good on the road.
Terrible this year.
Better than ever the other times. But this season they were 10 wins shy of they had a losing record by 10 wins.
I think it was like they were like 10-31. They're terrible.
Right. I mean, so you're just right. It's 10-31 on the road. So your point of if they got to get them back home, if they can get them back home and win, then there's. But you're right.
The problem is, it's this game. They have to win both 3 and 4 because they're probably going to lose 5. I think they could win 7. I think they could win a game 7, but once again, they're terrible on the road. But game 7, Sacramento could be dodgy. But look, if they lose any game at home, the series is over. Sacramento, I think they're in trouble anyway. I think Sacramento.
There's Foxy who says the AM hangover from Milan result.
Yeah, I think he flew out to Milan to celebrate with everybody. He's out for a little while here. I told him he's got to go. He's got to go to that. I will be. I've already told my bosses here. If Sevilla, if Manchester United goes to Sevilla and wins the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday semifinals would be whatever day it is, the 16th and 17th. One of the, I would guess it would be Tuesday. Would be Real Madrid, Manchester City in Manchester, and Thursday would be Manchester United, whoever, Juventus or Sporting. So I'll probably go to that. That would be pretty cool. Just be pretty cool to be in the city for that week. I would go to both matches.
Well, I mean, that would. We're gonna find out soon enough. We're not gonna have to wait.
Yeah, we'll know Thursday. I'm quietly confident. It looks like Marcus Rashford will be back. He's training, so I don't know if he'll start from the beginning. I thought they looked pretty good on the weekend. So we'll see. It's tough. I mean, they have 2 tough games in a row. You know, you got to go to Sevilla, and then they got the FA Cup semis. I'm not super confident about the game. I think they could win, but that Brighton team is really, really good. So, Brighton's still in it for a chance to maybe make make top 5, top whatever they're going to get to. They're on 49 points with 2 games in hand on Tottenham. So if Tottenham can beat Newcastle can do their job, Foxy, and finally win a game and, beat Tottenham, might help Brighton make, finish 5th and, get that Europa League spot. Brighton in Europe would be fantastic to watch. They would really, really play well, and that could be the starting point for Brighton to really. Brighton could win the tournament. They're that good. I mean, they're very good teams. So Brighton's got a tough schedule here. So.
Yeah, we talked about we'd hoped that Brighton could finish 4th, but it doesn't look like that's going to
They
happen.
won't finish 4th. Newcastle and Manchester United are just, I think, too far ahead. Manchester United is 10 points clear. They played 1 match more, and they actually play Brighton. I guess if Brighton beat them, but Newcastle plays Tottenham this weekend. If Newcastle wins that, they're on 59 points. Matches in hand are one thing, but you gotta, it's hard. I mean, Brighton's matches in hand are, they got to play at Forest, Wolves at home. They got to play Manchester United. They got to play Everton. They got to play Arsenal. They got to play Southampton. They got to play Villa. So, they're winnable games, yes, but matches in hand are different than.
Well, you still have to win.
Sorry, they still have 2 matches they have to be made up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know where they're going to go right now. And those 2 matches are Manchester City at home and Newcastle away. So they have to play City, Newcastle, Manchester United, and Arsenal, the current top 4. Look, if you win all those games, you'll probably have a chance to be Aston Villa, who's right in a battle with them for 6. So they play 5 of the top 6 teams right now down the stretch in their last 9 matches. So, if they beat those teams and they play some relegation teams. So, if they win 5, those games, they'll win. If they don't, they won't. So there's a possibility, though. I mean, they have it in their hands, which is more to say for some of these other teams.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, okay, what if they finish outside of the top 4? It's still a good result for them, right?
If they make it into Europa League, if they finish top 6 and make Europa League, which I think they will, it's going to be close, or top 7. Look, even if you get into the Conference League, look, I mean, you see what West Ham's doing. That game, they have that huge game on Thursday. If West Ham can win the Conference League and get into the Europa League next year, A, you have European trophy, you make some money. B, you're in a bigger competition. When you're in these European competitions, you're able to attract better players. So
and make more cash.
Yeah, it's just you just plus they'll probably sell Declan Rice because he's not gonna they're not gonna want him to leave for free, so they'll have some money to spend anyway. So yeah, it's very interesting. A lot of stuff. The last hopefully I get a chance to watch some matches here. They keep giving me every day. They want to give me 50 games, but I got to try to watch some games. Not real interested today, but tomorrow obviously is going to be big. And then, the games during the weeks, are always interesting. The Premier League matches coming up next week, I think will be pretty good to watch.
So then basically what happens if Bayern loses today?
I mean, they'll be out
of the tournament.
Yeah, maybe they win their league. I mean, it's still up.
They're having trouble in the league.
They're a mess. I don't know. I just think it's not it's still Bayern Munich. I mean, they'll bring players in and stuff, but they're old, and I think there's they don't make as much money in that league, and they're starting to. When you see these teams start complaining about stuff, teams like Bayern Munich complaining about competitive advantage.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you got to roll your eyes. Second of all, they're starting to be a little bit, they're a little bit worried, probably a lot worried about it because, when people are choosing to sign with, Brentford over Bayern Munich or, Southampton over Georgia, it's a problem for those leagues.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly one of those things where you sit and go, okay, let's see what happens now. But yeah, it's been, they've been the class of Bundesliga for a long time, and maybe even losing is not going to hurt.
I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world for another team to win that league this year.
Right.
I don't think another team is going to, but I mean, like Borussia Dortmund plays Friday, and they're 2 points back. So it's only going to be Borussia Dortmund. Union Berlin is already 7 back. So Borussia Dortmund, if they could win, it wouldn't be the worst thing. They're not going to,
Mm-hmm.
but they bottle. They had a chance to go ahead and pull even, and they didn't. They drew on the weekend when Bayern Munich drew. So, but I mean, you look at that league right now. I mean, the top 6, 3 is Union Berlin, 4 is Leipzig, who's only just got good because they're rich. 5 is Freiburg, 6 is Frankfurt, who's the defending Europa League champion, and 6 is Leverkusen. Who's okay. They're still in the Europa League here, but Mainz, Wolves. These teams aren't any good. They're just okay.
They're not there. So,
like those teams, Union Berlin. If Union Berlin and Freiburg end up getting into the Champions League, it'll be a great story. But they'll get battered in that league.
Mm-hmm.
They're not advancing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody says, "Oh, they advanced. They all went to look." Different, man. Newcastle's going to be in it. The big boys are coming back. Manchester United, teams like that. So it's not going to be the same.
Yes, it's a good news, bad news situation. What about the? There's been a lot of press and positive press for the women's Champions League.
Yeah, it's
information there too.
When you watched. It was you had that Barcelona team that didn't lose. They were 30-0 in their league and then ended up winning. But yeah, people are starting to bet it as well. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a huge. I don't have time to watch the Champions League games today.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I did, like I'm for me, this is just me personally. I'm not gonna watch them, but like.
Mm-hmm.
If it's on and there's nothing else on, I'll watch because I'm a football fan. But like, it's getting better. I know Manchester United are in the FA Cup final, so that's big for them.
Well, it's good for the sport.
Yeah, it's good for the sport, and I mean, you can't as much as I like, I'm American and stuff, but you can't just always have the U.S. winning the World Cup. I think you need at some point, if the sport is going to grow, you can't just have the same teams winning all the time. That's the problem with that's a little bit of a problem with the teams next week. I mean, it's Barcelona and Chelsea, and who is it's just so much easier just to do it. I know the CONCACAF Champions League is going on as well. It's Barcelona, Chelsea, Wolfsburg, Arsenal. So, it's like, last year it was the French teams, but it's the same kind of teams all the time. I guess you could argue it's kind of like that in the men as well, but,
I think that, if you look at it, in the 1994 when David Stern took the Dream Team over to Barcelona to play in the Olympics. His goal was to make it into an international, make basketball into an international sport, which he did over a period
Yeah.
of time. And I think that what we're seeing here with the Champions League is, women's soccer being given some, much deserved and much needed publicity, which of course obviously then grows the sport on a number of levels.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be like.
I think it's the same thing, for the CONCACAF Champions League next week. You got first legs, Tigres, Leon, the two Mexican teams are going to play on Tuesday. And then the two MLS teams, Philadelphia Union and LAFC, are going to play on the Wednesday. And then the following week, it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday. They flip-flop. It's, Seattle winning that last year. If LAFC or Union win it this year, all of a sudden now, the MLS becomes bigger, big. Now you're going to start, hey, listen, the Mexican dominance is over. Maybe you see what it's doing for the league now, bringing in these extra teams. So I think, sometimes that does help you.
It doesn't hurt. That's for sure. The more people who watch it, the more people who understand it, better it is for all of the sport.
Yep.
So there's that too. Let's see. We had checking one more thing here. We got there were comments from Foxy, which is always interesting. He always gives us some interesting info. Do you think there's any chance that any other manager gets fired before the end of the season?
Nah, not at this point now. I mean, everybody that got fired is going to get fired. So I think it's going to be – we were talking in the earlier show about how the Chelsea should have just brought him in already, and just if he's your guy, just bring him in and see what they, have him figure out his, the players. But, if he's already agreed to it, maybe, he's already doing that as well. But, they're just such a mess. So I would have brought, if he's your guy, I would have brought him in, but maybe they want to wait a little bit longer. I don't know why. Like Manchester United already knew Ten Hag was going to be the manager last year by this time, around this time. So I just think you do it and you let them, for the last 7 matches, you just let them see what these teams can do, see what these players can do, see if you need to sell them or whatever, and then whatever with the rest of them.
I think the thing that's interesting to me is how many teams do you think will change managers at the end of the season?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be, Foxy, they are pretty useless. Last year was their year and they blew it. They've never won a trophy, by the way. I don't know. I mean, so many changed already. Chelsea has an interim. Southampton, I don't know, they'll be down, so I guess that guy will stay. But Burnley might coming up because Company is going to be wanted by a few other teams and stuff. So it's there's possibility of some of these other ones. So, but I mean, most of them already changed. So City won't, Arsenal won't, unless Arteta leaves. But who knows if he would? Or I don't know if he would. Manchester United won't, Newcastle won't, Brighton won't, unless that guy gets taken. Aston Villa won't, Liverpool won't. Crystal Palace will hire somebody, although man, might as well just stay with Hodgson. They've been good, but I mean the teams in the middle, middle of the table there. Liverpool won't, Brentford won't, Thomas Frank will stay unless someone takes them. Fulham won't, Palace has to, Wolves won't. Bournemouth won't. They've been playing well. West Ham could. Moyes could leave, but once again, if they win a European Cup, Leeds already changed a couple times. Everton, Dice looks like, I guess he's staying. I don't know. Nottingham Forest, I guess they stuck with him this long. Leicester they could be in the championship. So probably 2 or 3. Oh, what's that?
We always like to check in on the relegation. Has your thoughts changed on the relegation at this point, or is it the same?
Southampton's gonna go. Forest is terrible. It's between. I think it's not the. I mean, it's not rocket science really, but like I feel like Leeds is going to have enough, but they're only on 29 points. I think it's going to be between. It's between Leeds, Everton, Nottingham Forest, Leicester, and Southampton. I think Southampton goes definitely. I think Leicester's going to go. They've been really bad, and they're not playing well. Although they have some big games coming up. Forest has looked really bad to me. Probably the bottom 3 now, but Everton could definitely go down. And once again, if Everton and Leicester go, it's an absolute disaster for both those teams. They won't. They'll have those financial implications for 5 years, 10 years, 5-10 years. It'll be a disaster.
I think at the end of the day, the key that you're talking about there is, when you get relegated like that and dropped out of the picture, then all that money dries up.
Yeah, it dries up, after like a little bit of time there.
So all right.
I gotta go to my game. So
we'll get out of here.
All right.
Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back here tomorrow, having a chance to chat.
Right.
It's a quick note there from Foxy.
Yeah, you useless this season. They have been useless.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Foxy. Thanks for everything. Whoa. Stop. Okay, there it goes. All right. Well, for Sean, I'm Jim. You guys have a wonderful day, and we will be back tomorrow and have some fun talking about it. Okay. All right. Take care now.